Welcome to Egypt. It's a beautiful place with really old and amazing things. A long, long time ago, people built an awesome civilization near the Nile River. They left behind incredible buildings and stories. Come explore the 10 most famous landmarks in Egypt with me. You'll see huge pyramids and temples. Each one has secrets about pharaohs, gods, and how people lived back then. It's super interesting. Look at the Great Pyramid! It's gigantic! This is what we think of when we picture ancient Egypt. It was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. It's the oldest and biggest of the 3 pyramids at Giza. It shows how smart the Egyptians were over 4,500 years ago. It's made of millions of huge limestone blocks. Some are as heavy as 80 tons. Can you imagine how hard people worked to build it? Thousands of people worked in the hot desert sun to build this amazing pyramid. You can see it from miles away. Near the pyramids is the Sphinx. It's a huge statue carved from rock. It has the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh, probably Pharaoh Khafre, Khufu's son. It looks out over the desert. Sometimes sand covers the Sphinx, and then people have to dig it out. The Sphinx is really old and worn down, but it's still amazing and mysterious. Let's go to Luxor, which used to be called Thebes. There's a huge temple complex called Karnak. It took hundreds of years to build. Pharaohs kept adding to it. Imagine walking through these giant columns. They have carvings of hieroglyphs, gods and pharaohs. It's like a giant stone storybook. You can almost smell the incense and hear people praying. Near the Nile River is the Valley of the Kings. This is where pharaohs were buried for 500 years. Imagine going inside these tombs. The walls are covered with colorful paintings and hieroglyphs. They tell stories about the afterlife. It feels like you're surrounded by ancient kings and queens. Way down south near Sudan are the temples of Abu Simbel. Ramesses II built them to show how powerful he was. The Great Temple has 4 giant statues of Ramesses. It's carved right into a cliff. It must have been incredibly hard to build. Twice a year the sun shines into the temple and lights up the statues. It's amazing. Back in Luxor is another great temple. This one was for the god Amun-Re. There's a long road lined with sphinxes that connects it to Karnak temple. It was a place for parties and festivals. Every year there was a big festival where they carried statues of the gods from Karnak to Luxor with music and dancing. You can still see carvings on the walls that show what it was like. Hatshepsut was a queen who ruled like a pharaoh. Her temple is different from the others. It's more elegant, with terraces and columns. It took a lot of courage for a woman to become pharaoh. Her temple is amazing. Let's go to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. It's full of incredible treasures. There are over 120,000 things to see. There are statues, jewelry, and all kinds of cool stuff. You can even see the golden mask of King Tut. Cairo is an old city with lots of history. Islamic Cairo is a special area with beautiful mosques and markets. You can hear the call to prayer, smell the spices, and see how people live today. Aswan is a city on the Nile River. It's a peaceful place with islands and palm trees. You can take a boat ride on the river and see the beautiful sunset. Wow, we saw so many amazing things in Egypt. These monuments are super old, but they still inspire us today. They remind us that people can do amazing things. The next time you see a picture of a pyramid, remember how awesome ancient Egypt was. Thanks for exploring Egypt with me.